Good afternoon. So, for my store, I think the best legal structure for my store, I dabbled a little bit because I was back and forth between the sole proprietorship and the LLC. I ended up just going straight to an LLC, mainly because it protects your personal finances from your business finances. So if something were to go wrong with my business, they wouldn't be able to take all of my personal belongings. Like I think I mentioned in my paper, like my car or my house. They're two separate entities, which is really nice. And I also went more the LLC route because I figured the type of business that is PC and how expensive it could be, I think it would help for applying for business credits or loans. Being an LLC, people are going to trust you more, give you a little more trust in giving you a loan and be willing to understand that you can pay it back. I guess is what I'm saying. Because like I think with a PC build and getting started up front, there could be a lot of cost just getting all the materials to help start your business. Computers are not cheap, and to build a specific type of computer and or the three tiers I'm thinking of, it could be pricey from the beginning. So I would like to be able, I probably need to take out some business loans. And in the area I'm in too, also I think just getting established in a business may be a little costly. Like the rent per month could be expensive. So that's kind of why I ended up just going with the LLC to begin with, because I was thinking maybe sole proprietorship would be good, but I think since it can be costly and I want to distinguish my personal and business finances from each other, I decided to just go LLC up front, even though it will be more costly up front, and I understand that, but I think it will be more beneficial for me in the long run than to start out sole proprietorship and then jump into an LLC. As far as licenses go, of course, I'm at least gonna need my business license, to legally operate in my area. Also, a sales tax permit to since I'll be selling computers and accessories, I need to collect and remit sales tax. Can't get away from those taxes. You don't want any tax collectors knocking at your door, taking away your stuff. Also, if depending on how I go, like I know in LLC, you usually have more people working for you. Right now, I probably would just be me and maybe my boyfriend to begin with. Maybe we would hire down the road, but if we were to hire down the road, we may also have, people that may need I guess this is actually going into insurance, so I don't want to jump there. I was gonna say workers' compensation insurance. That's the next part, but let me go back to the taxes. Also, maybe need an employee identification number. It's like a social security number for your business. I'll need it if I hire employees down the road and if I want to operate a business bank account. So that's kind of where I was going with the whole employees, is I need the EIN if I'm going to hire employees and so on. Like I said, it gives my business a social security number, so that's always helpful. If I were to operate at my home to begin with, which I don't think I would, maybe it would. I don't know. I guess it depends how costly it could be with building the computer parts. I might need, an occupation permit for my home, but I think I would just go straight to a whole business right now. Would be more beneficial because to me, like trying to build a computer at my kitchen table with somebody would probably not be the most professional or not be, probably not represent my business in the best way building it at home, but maybe it could be a start in the beginning, but who knows. So next thing, of course, insurance is always, everybody hates paying for insurance until something happens. And of course, your general liability insurance is just covers your customers' injuries, property damage, or accidents that could happen on your property. So we always want that. We don't want to be uncovered and something unfortunately happens. You always want to have your insurance for a rainy day. You're probably going to want business property to protect my tools, computers, and inventory from fire, theft, or damage. Computers are expensive, so to have to replace all those parts of the computer that would, maybe could be damaged in a storm or theft or fire would be very expensive. And, it's crazy. It's kind of a little off topic, but it's crazy where I'm at in the area. We just had, like, down the road was random fires because of the winds, and then, last night, this random hailstorm ended up hitting part of the town. Luckily, we were, on the good side of the storm. And it was really bad hail on the other side of the storm, the other side of the highway, literally about less than 5 miles from my house. So it got me to thinking about what, insurance, how good insurance is. As much as you hate paying it up front and paying it every month, it's always good to have it in case of an emergency. And I think I mentioned in my paper, it's like a seatbelt. You hate wearing them. They get annoying. Sometimes they're inconvenient, whatever, however it may be, but it is there to protect you in case of an emergency or an accident. It's there to protect you and maybe even save your life. Or in this case, the insurance is there to protect my business and all my money invested in there. So it's always good to have that. I think, like I was going earlier, jumping ahead, workers' compensation insurance if I have employees, to cover medical costs or lost wages for on the job. And I think this is probably one of the biggest ones, with all the cyber stuff coming up. I didn't really even know this was a type of insurance until doing the research for this, but cyber liability insurance protects your customers if data or payment information is stolen. And I think with all the cyber stuff that's been happening and, just seeing it everywhere about something always getting breached, it seems like on the daily or every hour, it would be good to have, liability insurance to protect against those incidences. Hopefully they never happen, but you never know. It could, you never know. Like I said, you want to have insurance for those rainy days where all of a sudden, it goes, an unfortunate event happens and you know what, you are covered by your insurance. That's kind of just the breakdown of what I'm thinking for my company was just have an LLC, of course, have your business license, your sales tax permit, your employee identification number, and depending on if I work at home, my home occupation loan, and of course your general insurance, general liability, business property, workers' compensation if I hire employees, and of course the cyber liability insurance. I think this would give me a good foundation to cover all ends of my business for right now. At least that's what I found as I continue to do research for this project and my store. I'm sure something will come up that I will see that I'll probably need to add to one of these facets because there's so many different types of insurance. There's so many different types of permits and certificates. There's the structures, and it's interesting to see all the different things that you need that make up a business because I never would have guessed you needed all these things to start a business. And it's very complicated. So it's really interesting seeing, and like I said, I look forward to seeing what else I maybe would need to add or change to better suit my business. But that's all I got for this week.